Purdue, man, I'll tell you what, I will, and kind of hold me to this one. Remind me, never, ever, ever. And this was my rule.
You were being the biggest hater.
Bo Ryan rule. My Bo Ryan rule was no matter who Bo's got on his team, I'm going to put Wisconsin in the top 25 preseason, no matter who he's got. I made that rule with Matt Painter, and I broke that damn rule this year. Like, how dumb am I?
And I tried to even tell you, and it wasn't coming from me. I told you, and we talked about it on the podcast, they are incredibly high on their freshman guards. Yeah. And I just feel like from knowing those guys, they would not say that if they didn't believe it. And I think that Purdue staff is excellent at evaluating talent and evaluating talent that will work for them.
Yeah.
Except for me. So when you were like, well, they're guards, I mean, Braden Smith is a beast.
I love him. Like, he might be my favorite player in the country right now.
The way that he controls the tempo, and honestly, Purdue was dealt a pretty tough hand, I would say. You're coming off Portland.
Yep.
You killed Gonzaga. You killed Duke. And they didn't leave until 9 or 9:30 Portland time.
Right.
Flew back
around.
Well, they had to. Yeah. There was a big backup of all these private planes leaving Portland. I'm serious. I was told this by one of the event people at PKI. Teams couldn't leave afterwards immediately for most of them because there was how many teams were there? 16 men's teams, 8 women's teams.
Yeah.
All flying different charters out of Portland. So they were having to stagger those alongside, I think, the commercial air traffic. And Purdue didn't leave till 9:30. It's not like they were like, let's see Portland for 6 hours. They couldn't leave. So they got back probably at 5 a.m., 4:35 a.m. Eastern. I assume had the day off, and then flew to Florida State after practicing on one day, and then went and played. And
they look like it early. They look like it.
But when they needed plays late, and Zach Edey was phenomenal again. I mean, this dude, seven straight KenPom MVP games.
It's amazing.
That's incredible. But their freshman guards, between Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, made massive plays from like the 9.5 minute mark to like the 7 minute mark to give them that push that really won the game.
They got shit to them. Those 2 freshman guards got shit to them. You can
try to tell you, Jeff, and you just
no, you did. You did. Listen, you did. Paint did. I just felt like point guard play is everything, and I was like, all right, this kid is small. He's been out the better half of the last 2 years. He's not even available to play in the summer. He was hurt all summer.
I know.
Like I talked to Zach Edey about it, and I said, what did you think of Braden? And he was like, well, like, I didn't know till September because I didn't see him on the court. So and their whole team, as you know, was hurt in the summer. They had 4 or 5 guys out, so they weren't even able to do stuff when other teams were. So I was concerned. I was concerned about them coming out of the gates for sure. But now, man, again, they're limited athletically. They're going to lose some games here. They're going to lose some games because there are going to be some teams that are going to be able to out-athlete them, and they're not going to be able to guard some of them. And they also don't have a guy you can just say, hey, go get a bucket if somehow you're able to kind of deny Zach Edey, which is easier said than done. I don't know how you deny him, but you are. At some point, they're going to double him and make some of those other guys.
I do think, though, that with Braden Smith in pick and roll, he's picked teams apart. I mean, I would think if you need a bucket from the perimeter, you go set a high ball screen for him and let him. I mean, he can shoot it, he can get to the basket, and he makes the right play. The pass he threw last night in the second half, where he was near the Seminole logo, and he just whipped this thing, hooked it over his head across the court. It was like you're talking about like a 45-foot pass that he just slung over his shoulder on a strike. And I think it was Caleb First. I think he had Caleb First right in the – I mean, it was an incredible pass.
That's he gives it to guys. Not only does he see it, and this is what blew me away in Portland. You can see it, and you can even get it to a guy who's open. But he's not only doing that, he's getting it right where they need it. So there's no wasting.
He's a big time passer.
Yes.
He's a really good player.
I said it. Like, first game I saw him, I'm like, Bob Cousy Award finalist. Today, like, literally, there aren't 5 guards, point guards, I would take over that kid right now.
And think about the growth that he still has.
Oh,
he's going to be,
but he's so cerebral,
really, really good.
Tough. He was like fronting Drew Timme in the post.
Yeah, he is tough. He is tough. I
Fighting
think that Purdue's depth too right now. I mean, they're playing 10 guys. I think you feel pretty good about putting in the game.
Their second unit's good.
Yeah, I think Brandon Newman is a guy that from the second unit can come off and
Jenkins
get some
score.
shots. Jenkins he only took 1 shot last night, but against Marquette, he made big time plays. Coppin Wren can score around the basket. Caleb First has had really good moments. They have a really good team. They have a really good team.
And Zach Edey is the game changer.
Yeah,
he is now the game changer for them because there's nobody. I was talking to Timmy about him, and he just said he's like he gets the ball in there.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? He's huge.
And he could score from like in the past. It was just like dunk, right? Now
he can score right on left hand. I mean, he's got
that hook that's unstoppable.
I think too defensively, he's made big strides in protecting the rim and helping their defense. Their defense is much better than last year's version.
But we know why.
Well, they had some guys that would get a little lost last year.
Yeah, they just weren't locked in. They weren't locked in. They were capable.
They were a team that looked like, even as much as Matt Painter was telling those dudes, they looked like they wanted to outscore you every game. And this year they've got, Duke didn't score for the last 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
They've been good defensively. The Indiana Purdue games this year are going to be off the chain in both Mackey. They'll be great. They will be awesome.